Now, for more on Greece and the European Union's economy, let's bring back in our global economics analyst, Saruhan Hatipoglu. Welcome back.
Hi.
So, as we heard there, not everyone is feeling the benefits of some of these reforms that we've seen gone through and really appreciating that things are turning around. Now, the economy did shrink in the first few months of the year, but the OECD is hopeful about the second half of the year. What do you think about that?
I don't know what OECD is thinking. And the reason I'm saying that, I mean, there are some positives out of this agreement. ECB is going to start buying Greek bonds, which is going to provide financing to the government. That's great news. Greek banks, there are equity opportunities because Greek banks have done so badly in the first 6 weeks of the year, lost 60% of their shares. Now they're on par. So there's some good news. So financing costs are going to go down. But Rachelle, I'm looking at consumer spending. The EU austerity measures are causing a 24% sales tax. Who's going to spend that money in Greece? We're looking at business activity. We heard in the piece here, small business is suffocated because of the high taxes. They're not going to be able to spend. So where is this growth going to come from? Government spending? Well, EU is also restricting that. The Greek government is not able to spend. So I'm very surprised. I mean, it could be a second quarter bump because of this agreement, because more money is going to be coming to Greece. But I don't see any medium to long-term economic activity picking up in the country.
Now, let's say you're a Greek resident and you're looking at the situation that Greece is in now. Is Greece solely to blame for the problems, or does some of the fault lie with the EU and their failure to come up with a coherent strategy?
Well, everybody has problems with each other. I don't know who did what to whom, but EU and Greece they need serious marriage counseling. That's what I could say. Look, the problem started with Greece coming into the European Monetary Union. They fudged their numbers. They got into the Monetary Union. I was in a conference in St. Petersburg. Romano Prodi, president of the European Commission, said, look, Greece cheated, and we know they cheated. We still accepted them in.
Right.
So, but that's past. We're here. Now we have to deal with the situation. And you can't really impose austerity measures on a country that's been mired in recession. That's the part that I don't understand. I mean, I understand it politically. I understand what Chancellor Merkel needs to go to Bundestag and convince politicians that they need to do that. But realistically speaking, if consumption is not happening, business activity is near zero, and we're talking about 30% below poverty line in Greece of the population, 50% youth unemployment, 25% of the national income decimated from 2009 to 2016. I don't know what they're thinking.
So with that being said, just how badly does Greece need this bailout money at this point?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, they need it, and they're going to get it, by the way. But again, we're delaying the inevitable. That's what the European Union is doing, and that's what I'm very upset about, because there are two options here. Now, let's be honest. Let's put everything on the table. Option one is Greece leaves the monetary union. Option two, you give Greece debt relief. I don't know if you do it by extending maturities out there or providing a haircut, but out of these two options, I don't see a third one. And the EU is trying to create this third option. They're delaying the inevitable. We have a macroeconomic time bomb as well as a demographic time bomb in Greece ready to explode. So hopefully they'll see their mistakes and be a little more accommodative dealing with Greece in the future.
And speaking of other time bombs in Europe, you also have the strain of the refugee crisis now weighing on European economies. You have the Brexit with the UK going to vote on whether it's going to leave. And even a recent poll showed that almost a third of Germans now are thinking leaving the EU might not be such a bad idea. It's not great to hear from Europe's largest economy. What do you make of this?
Well, you know, ever closer union was not very close to begin with, I guess, right? I remember an article when I was going to graduate school here down the corner, and the Financial Times article said, can the EMU fly? And we talked about it, and even then, as students, we realized that there's so many disparities in these countries. I don't know how this is going to work, and we're seeing that today as well. I don't think it's going to come to Germany. Germany, being in the European Union, the concept of European Union is very important to the Germans, and I think and economically they're very strong, so they'll find a way to stay, and they'll convince their people. But countries like Greece, Portugal, Spain, along the way, they may actually vote to leave. I mean, we're talking about Brexit, but Brexit, again, is European Union leaving. These are European Monetary Union countries that would be leaving. That's really bad news if that happens.
And just quickly, I do want to touch on Italy and France, who are both struggling with slow growth, stubbornly high unemployment, public finance issues. Some people think they could be next to crash. Do you agree?
I don't want to say I agree, but yes, there are some data that we're looking at, and it could happen. But Italians have done, under the new government, Italians have done quite a good number of reform measures. They've undertaken that. But will it be enough? Because especially if Greece falls and then Spain and Portugal follows, why not Spain? Why not France? And we know, we've talked about it last week, France is having a lot of problems internally. Right. So technically it could happen. Will Germany allow that to happen? Probably not. And hopefully Europe will be able to stay together. But again, we need to just move away a little bit from this austerity, imposing austerity on countries that are mired in recession.
Well, we'll have to leave it there, but certainly lots to keep an eye on. Saruhan Hatipoglu, our global economics analyst, thank you for joining us.
Sure.
If you like what you just saw, follow us on social media and visit our website, cctv-america.com.